What's good, y'all? My name is Notion. I'm a producer, engineer, MC from Melbourne, Australia, if you can't tell by the funny accent here. I live in Toronto, Canada. Toronto, T-Dot, the 6. I'm out here still, but what I'm doing today is my very first video. I think I'm going to call it Notion Beats Unpacked, and it's going to be a short to medium segment of how I break down some of my most popular beats or something that got a good response or whatever, something that I liked. So, I mean, let's kick it off. The first beat I'm going to deconstruct and show you how I made start to finish is from a instrumental, my first instrumental EP called Snares and Soul, which I released a couple years ago. So what I'm going to do first is just show you what I was working with, what sample I had to start off with. It's a song by a group called Master Plan. Song's called Hey, so I called the beat Hey, nice and easy. I named my beats something to do with a sample because it makes it easier to find later on. So let's start by listening to what I had to work with, and then I'll show you what I chopped, and then I'll show you how I chopped it, and then I'll show you how I incorporated the drums and the bass, and then briefly mixed it. So here we go. See if you can spot where I chopped. That's enough because there's a few more bits at the end. If you're looking along at the top, you can see where I've pretty much chopped it. So essentially what I just played you is the raw sample that I messed with. And then up here, I'll zoom in for you. You can just see how many chops I had along the way. So what I essentially did is highlighted all of these and then right-clicked and went convert to new sampler track. And then that brought up a new square, and then you delete that, and then you have everything ready to go. So I'm going to show you on the visual keyboard here. When I made the beat, I had my MPK 49 plugged in, and I had it all mapped out to all the keys. And so I just was able to go nuts on it. So essentially, let me just grab my keyboard here, like the old QWERTY. So as you can see, starting on like this section here is where I've got all the way to the left on the lowest octave there. And it's going to be picking from here, left to right, in this order. It's going up and down the keys. So I've got... Right, and then you go to the next part, and you got the rest of it. It just doesn't stop, mate. So I basically just went through all that, went through all this, and just picked my favorite little bits, and just... So essentially, this is the very first part that I played. I'll show you just the verse. That's essentially your loop there. And man, that sample's so full of stuff. That was literally the first thing that I stumbled across. So I will revisit this. There's definitely more hidden gems at the start of that. So that part was kind of taken from in the middle, and then I had this next part for the, I guess I called it hook, but it doesn't really, sounds like the hook's over here. But anyway, this next part, little differences, essentially the same bass, but just little switch ups. And then there we go, sorry, a bit messy. Hook extras as I've labeled it. And you can see the finger at the keyboard there. Cool, so that with the other one does a nice little bounce back and forth from each other. And then essentially I added some bass, which I just played from the Logic instrument, the thumb stroke bass. And then not too much processing on that. It already came with a couple things from the Logic thing. I put on from the Logic settings. I put on the CLA bass, which I actually messed with heavy. Didn't do too much. It's a little in the very low end. Took off the distortion. I usually lower that a little bit, but it didn't that time. So there you go. Take out a little bit of treble, get it to thump. Couple variations, mostly playing along with the bass line here. Try to keep bass lines minimal when you're doing this kind of stuff. Try to keep it in the pocket, so to speak. I can't play the bass. I play it on the keyboard, but cool. So that adds a little bum to it. And essentially we've got the drum. So I just had, I'll show you the basic pattern by itself. Just 4/4 drums, nice and easy. 86.5 is the tempo, as you can see. These are all a mix of sample drums that I got from packs and stuff like that. A couple from, as you can see, there's Ninth Wonder drums. There's a couple drums I got from the IllNote packs. Is essential. So essentially it doesn't get too much more crazy than that because it's nice and lazy. I enjoy that. So what I did, I've got the main kick here, which is followed by a ghost kick, which is more of a layer but also a secondary one to add some ba-boom, you know. The second one's a little quieter, a little less intense, compressed a bit more, almost like a parallel arrangement. And then we've got some hats there. Nice and chilling. Again, very lazy. The first snare, more of a crack. But then you got the big dog snare, which is where all the meat and potatoes comes from. Hey, ba-dum-bum. And then check this little. And before you know it, mate, you got a little banger like this. So that's essentially how I got it to there, but to get it to that sound, I had to actually pitch the whole thing up. So when you go into the sampler part, you can show this, and then the track, you can do the volume, or you can do the EX24, you go to the pitch, and you go to the course tune. So through your sampler, you actually go to the pitch controls, and you go to the course tune, and I pitched the whole thing up 3 semitones, and essentially got that nice little chipmunky soul sound pitched up joint that everybody likes. But on the intro particularly, I did a little step up, as you may have heard. So I just want to show you how I did that. I just kept it at 0. Did a little automation. That doesn't need to be there. Whatever's. Actually, no, I'll leave that. So it's just at 0, and then I just did a steady incline to that part, just for the first little bar and a bit. First little bar. So it's like does this. Bam. So there it is, y'all. My first beat walkthrough. Unpacking my first joint, the Hey Beat from the Snares and Soul Instrumental album. Check it out on notionbeats.com. You'll see it on the right-hand side. So if you liked this video, please subscribe. Please like it. Give me a big, fat thumbs up. And click on the notification bell so you know when I drop a next one. I'm going to start building these up. If you have any suggestions or things you'd like to add or any tips or anything like that, please have a discussion in the comments. Tell me about it. We'll have a chat. I always want to get better. This is an older beat, so if you saw some funny stuff going on in the processing, in the chains in some way, then forgive me. This is literally years old. All I did was put some things on the out bus there, the stereo out. But other than that, mate, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.